If I were to mention branding, what would be one of the first things that pops into your head? Since many of you are likely CPG industry stakeholders, I'd assume packaging design topped the list. And that makes perfect sense because the right packaging is crucial for CPG products, as you can't sell what the consumer doesn't notice from a distance, especially within today's age of the endless aisle. But while packaging design is certainly an important way to create a positive first impression by visually indicating what your CPG brand represents inside and out, it's only one of many cascading strategic choices needed to create something truly distinct and special within the ultra-competitive CPG industry. And it was refreshing to hear that framework show up at different moments throughout this diverse conversation with the Vice President of Strategic Marketing at Resource Label Group, Melanie Edwards Virreira. Beyond discussing a few packaging design tips and tricks to enhance connection with today's consumers, we examine how to best retain your brand identity system when shifting into different formats, and why packaging should really be considered a below-the-line marketing expense instead of inclusion within the cost of goods sold. Additionally, we examine the unlocked value that gets created when you stop being primarily transactional with your supplier relationships. But before jumping into these interesting topics and many more, I wanted to quickly provide some additional context. For anyone watching the video version of this podcast episode, you might notice one, the background is different, and that's because it was captured on site at the Beverage Forum. But two, I have a co-host, Dino Sardi, who along with Danny Stepper graciously invited me again to the new era of this prestigious gathering of beverage industry executives, where I focused on helping them launch a new podcast called Poor Decisions. So do me a huge favor and follow the Poor Decisions radio handle across all social media platforms, as the podcast will feature weekly episodes unpacking the untold stories behind the world's most iconic and emerging beverage brands. Also, an extra special thanks to Cognizant for not only being the title sponsor of the Beverage Forum 2025, but supporting this awesome piece of content. Whether you are a professional like me seeking cognitive performance or an individual focused on maintaining mental sharpness, Cognizant resonates with everyone striving for brain health. As the gold standard for acetylcholine, Cognizant is not just about supporting memory, it's about embracing life to the fullest. Learn more at the link in the description. But without further delay, here is the recent conversation we had with our good friend, Melanie Edwards Virreira.
And I'm like, okay. Are we ready to rock? It was the shortest one we did, by far.
I'm sure.
By far.
I was waiting for
Let's get a selfie.
I was waiting for Hulk, though.
Oh my gosh, you're so fancy.
Like, what phone booth were you in with those guys?
I know.
What are you guys doing?
I was like, why are you so close to that?
What are you doing?
He's the guy in the suit.
He's way too fancy. The dynamic of the suit really throws us off. I don't know. It's like makes me feel.
Don't worry, tomorrow
I mean,
I'm
it
going
looks
to be
really
in
good.
full
It looks like you're going to a
mode.
wedding.
I don't really dress up like this anymore, so I've lost a little weight, so I'm excited about that.
That's right.
My clothes fit again.
I want it all like
Tomorrow you're getting it. Tomorrow you're getting it. But I'm like, I walk into my bedroom to get like figuring out what I'm going to wear, right? And I don't do that, but this is what I'm doing. So I start pulling stuff out, and by the time I get to the fifth thing, I look at my wife, and I'm like, everything fits. Like the mission was to find what fits.
Congrats.
Welcome to being a female. This is what our entire life is like.
Everything fits.
It's like you hold onto those jeans from high school because there's the chance that will, one, come back in style, and two, will fit you.
I have a lot of little numbers I put together where I was like, well, it doesn't fit now, but I'm losing weight. In 2 weeks, it'll look great. And it never does.
It's one of those things where I feel like sometimes it's hard to judge because it did look cute and then it went out of style and then it came back and you're like, but is it the new retro style, or is it just totally off put?
Yeah. Yeah. So you and I spent a lot of time talking together. We've been doing it. Yeah.
So many great stories.
You and I have spent a lot of time together, and I'm familiar with some elements of your career, but I'd love to kind of hear the journey. Like, it started did it start in Alabama?
Yeah, should we go back when I was born?
Sweet home Alabama.
Yeah, Mobile, Alabama, born and raised.
Mobile, Alabama.
Mobile, Alabama.
It's not called Mobile.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's most definitely not.
All right.
God.
Fair enough.
Hey, that's where Mardi Gras originated.
How did it become so big in New Orleans?
Yeah, no.
Thought it was Galveston.
It's more of a family style in Mobile, but it started in Mobile and then moved to New Orleans.
God, it started in Mobile, perfected in New Orleans.
So I went to Clemson for undergrad. They have a major there called graphic communications, which is basically printing and commercial art.
It's not for kids that can't read.
No, No, turns out. And it's a great program, and I ended up in the printing industry and was started in labels at a different company. 6 years, then went to CTI, which is the thermochromic ink company that we partner
I'm an
with.
investor.
That's right.
Yeah. Disclosure, I'm an investor.
Yeah, that's probably smart. And then got recruited to come work at Ball and was there for 11 years.
And that's like 20 in dog years.
I mean, it was fun.
Yeah.
Got to develop the wine and can market and the craft beer market, so that was really awesome.
See, and I missed like the aerospace stuff. They sold that already. Like, what was it like working for a company that had an aerospace division with a skiff upstairs?
We were not able to integrate at all. They had their own buildings. We weren't allowed in them. We have no idea what they did, except for the telescope where we started discovering new Earths.
Wow.
It was pretty cool stuff, but we didn't find out until the rest of the public
Interesting.
was alerted to those things. I was not involved in that. And then I got recruited back to labels, and so it's like full circle. So now I'm at Resource Label Group.
And tell me about your role at Resource Label Group. I know that you're the queen bee of the labels,
Queen bee,
but what does
yes.
that actually mean?
I need to tell my boss that I'm the queen bee. He may not know. I run marketing for the company. I do strategic marketing, and we are an acquisition-based company, so we find the best of the best around the country. We convince them to come be part of our family. We use all of their amazing entrepreneurial qualities, like John McDowell, who you guys have seen, and we find ways to help our customers win in different verticals based on these unique skills of these different companies that we acquire. So I work for our corporate company and help set up things like this.
And you guys are kind of at the center of what's happening with co-opetition right now.
Oh, yes.
Like you guys are part of a super group.
Yeah.
And that started with, what was it, Supply Side, or which one of those shows?
Yeah, Expo Energy. And so that was actually an idea that was generated by one of the partners that's a big influencer, Price Plow in the sports nutrition market, had this idea of creating kind of a everything in one can, amazing benefit beverage that wouldn't be economical to scale in any way, but it was like, man, you can now like have this one thing, and it was like limited
everything
supply.
everywhere all at once.
It was only available. Yes, exactly. That is exactly what it's like. And it's only available at this one show. And so it was going crazy wild. Everything's getting shared throughout the event. People wanted it afterwards, but there weren't any more. And we were already working with another event. We had a sponsorship, and we're like, let's do it again. And so we did it. We actually had a whole kind of panel. We talked about all the different collaborations. And the key for us is, how do you take the best of the best at different verticals in the supply chain, bring them together, and see how you actually get more than what any one individual group could do on their own, because there's all the sharing of ideas and people bringing their innovations.
I really like that, because I think a lot of times, even if it's supply layers, you think of everybody as competitors.
Yeah.
And you really need to think about that we should come together and collaborate on these like big ideas that really show off all of our uniqueness and distinction, and like, how do we show, because everybody here, you think about the brand owners and things, like they're all trying to figure out, how do we take this, quote unquote commodity and make it our own, create some emotional connection. How do we do that through flavor, through ingredients, through, the tactile nature of labeling and the color, and like all that is a part of this moment that you have with something that if you do it well, you ultimately have something special. You're no longer a commodity. You're something that people will remember and that they'll continuously buy. And it's like, that's the game today. It's not, just, you can't be good at one of them. You have to be good at all of them. And I think
it all should be in support of itself, right? It's like a really good strategy. Everything should cascade and build to that essential positioning and branding that you create. And so you can have an amazing product, but if it doesn't communicate or connect with the consumer, nobody's going to try it. And so you really have to make sure that all those things work well together. And if there's some amazing ingredient, some flavor, it's like, how do you use the packaging to help bring that to life so the consumer knows and is drawn to it? Especially if you have your key demographic identified, you know what you're trying to do. Now you got to get the experts to tell you, like, hey, let's use this particular thing, this unique innovation, or this unique combination of inks that already exist, and let's put them together, and it's going to actually do that thing for your brand. That wouldn't work for the other brand. That's not what they're trying to do. So the key is defining what it is you're trying to do, and then bringing all the players together. And then by making them all work in concert, then you actually have a superior brand that the consumer is going to remember.
So the cool stuff that you guys do is textures, a lot of really interesting color effects. And then I think some of it too is just the sharpness, like the 4K sort of-ness of your designs. How do you use all those tools appropriately? And do the brands give you the show you the way, or do you put them like, here's where the rails are?
If I had my way in every brand engagement, you would bring us in really early and we would understand, what is your brand statement? What are you trying to do? Who's your target consumer? Is there some kind of emotion that you're trying to convey or a message? And then together we would work to build that really unique application. But to your point, labels are really amazing because you get high fidelity colors. They pop off the shelf. They're usually PMS colors, which is like a brand specific color, which means you get consistent reproduction every time. And then it's all about like, how do you make sure that the choices that you're making have a function and a purpose? And then by doing those things, you can get an economical solution. You don't just want to like throw everything at it, because one, then it looks gimmicky and it's unintentional. It's not actually going to do anything for you, and you just paid a lot for it.
Yeah. Well, like the supply side can was pretty busy.
Yes.
But it was an amazing platform to show the technology.
Yeah. And that was actually somewhat of the intent. It was intended to be a business card for all the partners that were involved in that collaboration. So it had a lot of text on it. It was intended to be like a race car type design. And so it's like kind of like, logos all over the race cars. So it was like, let's take that works in that vertical and then let's put it in this, collaboration can. So it's like borrowing some of that inspiration from another area and using it on the can. But that's exactly right. We highlighted all the logos, we had all the exciting things that were inside the can and all the different things you can do with the label.
Now you mentioned wanting to get in early to brands to understand like what they're trying to, but what happens when a brand, and I use the word brand loosely because I think a lot of times they're product sellers, and like, what if they don't have brand standards, brand strategy?
That's
like
okay.
they think to themselves, the label is my branding, and you come in and how do you work through that? Because there's going to be much different when somebody has a very good understanding of who they are and who they want to be.
Yeah.
Over somebody that just comes in and says like, I want a pretty label. And you're like, how do you...
You ask a lot of curious questions. I think it's totally okay to come at any point in time in the journey, because some people will come back again like later after they've evolved a bit, they've gotten feedback from the market, and that helps guide the direction. But you can get down to where they think this product is going to sell. What are the benefits of it? Like, you can get to some of those really core things that we need to evoke. And then you can guide some of the brand stuff. It's like, okay, well, let's pick this color and keep it consistent. Usually people have some of those things. It's not usually completely from scratch, but the earlier we can come in, the more we can help make sure that design is intentional. It's using all the different capabilities, because designers don't always know printing.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because like when you're buying something in an e-com platform, you literally sit down and you type in a name and you called it up and presto, it comes to your house.
Oh, yeah.
When you go to the store, the label is the best salesman the product has. And I was talking to Buster from Albertsons, and he said, consumers have 3 seconds to make a purchase decision. So what are the things that you try and bake into labels to really hack that 3 seconds?
If you can get a customer to pick up the product, I think it's like 60% more likely to put it in your cart.
Oh, more likely to go in the cart than back to the shelf.
Then back on the shelf. So how do you get people to pick it up? Well, one thing is you can have textures or reflectivity, anything that's going to capture the attention, you're more likely to pick up that can. And so that's a lot of the things that we want to try to do is, again, communicate what the product is, make sure that there is that logo branding so that they always know when to come back to it. And then is there something there that's going to allow them to pick that can up? Like the protein meter on Don't Quit will be a really interesting application because it's functional. It performs a purpose. It's memorable. You're going to see it. You want to touch it. And so all those kind of things happening on the package are going to capture a customer's attention. And that is hard to do with so many different options on the shelf.
An interesting evolution, because there was this phase, you talked about e-com, where a lot of these digital only type brands went and really kind of streamlined their packaging to the most flat, basic kind of thing, because who cares? It's going to be the render. You're going to see the render. But what ended up happening, I think what people misconstrued was that the peak moment changed, where there was this acquisition where you pick the can up, that's you buy it, you put it in your thing. Yeah. But when you open up your box and you take that package out, that becomes like retention piece, because if you are underwhelmed by that purchase, then you might not buy it again. You've already bought it, so you're not gonna ship it back. But
I love that
it moves it away. So people, I think, originally took it for granted that they could trim that cost out because it wasn't important. It just moved the peak moment to a different area. So it ends up that still the feel of it. If you're a luxurious or a premium brand, you want to have that feel that way. If not, people are going to go, well, what am I buying? Am I buying something cheap? Like what?
The unboxing experience is so important. And if you're selling this lifestyle and then you open it up and it's this kind of chintzy, plain.
You think about if you bought an Apple iPhone or whatever, like you
spend $1,000 and you get this really chintzy box.
Just
that,
it
communicates the quality of what's inside. And so if you're saying this is a high quality, cost you $7 for this can, and then you deliver a low quality package, it's hard to get repeat.
And that becomes important, I think, with these more functional, like nutrition oriented products or whatever, because it isn't just you're just satiating some basic need. It's elevated. So then you're looking at that and saying, I want an elevated experience with this product in all aspects, not just, it tastes good or, it's not like you're picking up a Coca-Cola just because you're thirsty. Like there's something more to that. So you want to have that match,
you're exactly right.
The feeling. So,
and that's all about like what's inside needs to be reflected on the outside. So depending on what you're trying to do, what your price point is, what the function is, how to use the packaging to convey that. Like a lot of sports nutrition is tons of embellishments in sports nutrition. A lot of it is like foils and tactile because it's all about movement and grip.
Yeah.
And so now you're reinforcing those benefits that come from using the thing that's inside the package. So it's really subconscious, but it actually does move the needle and allows you to reinforce that whole entire function and promise that you're giving.
What happens when you talked about nutrition? So obviously there's a bunch of baked in margin when you're selling this, say a pre-workout at $40 and you have all this to play with when you make those fancy labels, but then they move from a pre-workout to an energy drink and then they're playing with pennies and they want to keep the same feel and touch or whatever, but then they can't use all the elements they used to, or it would.
This is why you need to bring people in early because there's a way that you can get clear consistency and congruency with the packages that are on shelf, but you have to be thoughtful and intentional about it. And this is something that I try to stand on a lot. When you're communicating your product to the consumer, this should be a marketing expense. Like packaging should be a marketing expense. Often it gets into COGS and then it's like you lose a lot of brand equity when you just reduce the packaging to your point with the unboxing.
But it should be in COGS.
All right, Dina.
Not the development, but it should be in COGS.
There are many brands that treat the packaging as a marketing expense. And one of the ways that they do is they have extreme consumer loyalty.
Yeah, I would argue they're inflating.
My accounting brain is saying
they're
FASB
inflating
says
gross
no,
margin.
you're not allowed to do that. You have to put it in the COGS.
Imagine if we just poked holes in the status quo.
What if we just took away all of these standards and moved? Yeah, no, I agree though. But I do think like it is, but it isn't, but you can think like that. If it's a point that you can deal with and you think about it as a marketing expense, it's, like any of these things. I mean, people could bucket them in there. If it's a part of the bigger brand experience.
You don't buy those specific Google ads. Instead, you say, I want to make sure that I have thermochromic on my package because it actually drives some kind of consumer behavior in the same way that a Google ad might. And so it's just a matter of where you're spending your dollars in order to capture the consumer's attention.
And what are the sweet spots for you guys? Is it everything from wine labels to, rotogravure sleeves, or what are the things that you guys are great at?
We have 30 locations around the country, in Canada and United States. And there's some key verticals that we focus on. Sports nutrition, and obviously that's merging into mass beverage. And so, playing in that beverage space, both in terms of shrink sleeves, pressure sensitive labels. Wine and spirits, we have a business unit, fantastic, incredible, high-end, highly complex labels that just everything you would imagine when you're in that area. And healthcare, we have an entire healthcare division that does really interesting, high quality tracking. We have a smart products division that does RFID and NFC. So when we start getting into consumer engagement and how do you take kind of this sort of static one-way experience in the shelf and allow your consumer to actually engage in that and get more of the brand story, there's so much happening in that space. And we're doing all kinds of cool things with our customers around that.
Well, I'm also trying to pull back the tears a little bit because in my heart there was going to be a Beverage Forum 2025 energy.
Why
that
didn't you
never
tell us?
materialized. Well, because
we decided to do a commercial product
I
instead.
think it became protein soda. Yeah, I think Don't Quit stole my opportunity. Tell me about the Don't Quit project. Because now it's different, right? When you guys did supply side, it was the band getting together and saying, this is how we're going to play the song.
Yeah.
Now you've got Mark French's opinion. You've got
Oh my
Chad's
gosh, so
opinion.
many opinions.
Yeah, now you guys are all collectively working for a client.
And, it's all good. I think that's the key is like, what is the challenge? And like, let's figure out how we band together and get the best, most optimal solution. I love a good actual commercial product because it matters, right? You're like,
well, there's a
okay,
return on
Mario.
that work too.
It's nice to get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice because there's clear guidelines, there's an intention behind it, and so you really are working on real world challenges there. And then these collab things are so fun because it's, the world is your oyster. Like, how many great things can we put on one sleeve? I mean, we can do a lot of stuff.
Well, that crew's getting good. I think you guys are on your 4th collab now.
Yes, isn't it fun? Yeah, we work really well together. Macrocap Labs is a partner that we've worked with in many, many things.
Well, I had those guys in here yesterday. It was a lot of beards. A lot of beards there.
Those are really popular. I hope you still like me even without my beard. And then Sensapure is great flavor group. And then we work with a designer, Nutrimedia, who is very big in sports nutrition, and recommend him for any kind of beverage artwork that folks are, because he's got a great understanding of printing. So when you think about how do you deploy all these capabilities, having your designer know more about the capabilities that exist and how you actually can produce them at scale, at speed, economically, now you've streamlined your opportunity and you're going to get a better design in the end. So we got a great group. We're going to do it again.
I hope so. I'm still waiting for my Beverage Forum product.
So Beverage Forum 26.
Doesn't have to be. You guys like deadlines too. You guys like stupid deadlines. You could do Beverage Forum London in October.
You're like, we can only give you 6 weeks, so that it's a real challenge.
Well, yeah, when ABC builds a house, they don't do it in 3 months. They do it in a week. It's only fun to watch if they do it fast.
We do like more time.
But do you need it?
No, I think we've proven that when you bring everybody together, you actually solve the problems at the same time versus in tandem. Because when you end up introducing a problem 4 steps in, you got to go back to the beginning. So then your speed to market gets longer. So we always say, like, look, if you can get everybody in the room together, we're going to get a better solution and you're going to get speed to market longer. It doesn't mean anybody's lead times necessarily got shorter. It's just you're not solving these things as you go and starting over. So I would say that the team can do really amazing things really quickly. We still like more lead time. Ideally, we can solve these things and be less stressed about the whole thing. But yeah, Beverage Forum, I don't know if UK is in the cards, but we'll get you.
They'd have to find a co-man in
I know.
UK
What do you think the product should be?
I don't know. I consume a lot of energy.
Dino energy.
A lot of energy.
Dino energy.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm ready to license that, but
Not yet.
whatever you guys like.
We could do a dinosaur themed.
So before I let you off the hook, you said something in the
tactile.
I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm not saying I don't love it. You started off by saying you're an acquisition company, and I certainly don't want you to tell me what you're doing next, but where's the future then for Labor Resource Group? You got 30 plants already. You do a little bit of everything. Like, what's the future?
Honestly, we're driving in on the focus. I think not a lot of people know Resource Label Group for who we are, because the way that we acquire folks into the family of the Resource Label Group is we let them keep their names. And so oftentimes a lot of customers just know the local entity. So we're really trying to make sure that our customers know, like, hey, we have this service that we can help you be better than you ever imagined. And we can be a partner to folks like yourself, your brands, co-packers, flavor houses, and all those things working together makes the brand more successful. And that's where the fun begins. So we're really trying to make sure that we can let people know that service is available. And then I would say we're really diving in hard on how to do that connective packaging so that we can continue to help our customers build that story and that connection with their consumer. Because, I mean, there's so much more obviously out there when you can actually have a conversation at the point of sale.
Yeah.
Versus just having to put it all on the can or the bottle. So there's a lot going on there, and we're really excited about it.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad. I mean, after chasing you all day,
Oh
I finally
my
got you
God.
in the chair.
So dramatic.
So thank you so much for coming in. I had a lot of fun.
Can't wait till our reptile energy drink.
I'm in.
Dino NRG.
Thanks for coming in.
But I hope you enjoyed the first principles thinking that went into my latest YouTube video. If you did, can you do me a favor by hitting that like button? That quick and free action helps YouTube know my content is worth spreading to more people. Also, we're getting really close to reaching my next subscriber goal, and it would be great if you join me on this journey. But to do that, we need to fix the fact that slightly more than 3/4 of you that are watching this video right now are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, and that hurts my feelings. Regardless, I want to thank you for giving me some of your attention and time, and I'll see you on the next one.